Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Pretty please, with sugar on top.
So this week marks the 40-year anniversary of the release of Superman 2. Between this and Raiders of the Lost Ark, people in the summer of 1981 must have been like this.
It's showtime.
So quickly I have to mention, I'll be reviewing the Richard Donner cut of this movie, considering that was the original version that we were all supposed to get in the summer of 1981 anyway. But the studio thought it would be a good idea to replace Richard Donner in the middle of production. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a good idea because the Richard Donner cut of this movie is far superior in every way. What makes it even stranger is that this movie and the first movie were filmed simultaneously. Gotta love those studio director beefs. Never change, WB.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Anyway, this film features an all-star cast featuring the return of Christopher Reeves in his iconic role. From a traditional standpoint, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who embodies both Clark Kent and Superman in the way that Christopher Reeves does. We also have Gene Hackman back as Lex Luthor. I always thought that Gene Hackman's presence brought a little bit of prestige to this over-the-top version of Lex Luthor. But in a lesser actor's hands, this dialogue would have came off even more cheesy than it already does, so credit goes to him for making that work. Just gotta say also, they swung for the fences, getting Marlon Brando as Jor-El.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Sure, he was reportedly a pain in the ass to work with, but to get one of the greatest actors of all time in such a role is quite an accomplishment. Wouldn't you agree, Jack?
You're goddamn right I did!
And again, his presence adds prestige to the whole picture. Margot Kidder as Lois Lane also returns for this movie, and she brings the charm and the sass to this character that is 100% necessary. And finally, we have Terrence Stamp as Zod, and he's such a commanding presence when he's on screen. And Zod isn't your typical destroy everything type villain. He may be capable of doing that, but his words are just as important as his actions. And he feels like a bigger threat because of it.
Kneel before Zod!
I always enjoyed how back in the day when they would make a sequel to a movie, and the beginning of the sequel would overlap with the end of the original. It basically gives the audience a refresher about what's going on. And in this particular case, it sets the stage for Zod, Ursa, and Nan's escape from the Phantom Zone. I have to admit, some of the effects have not aged well in this movie.
That's right, it stinks!
Specifically the Phantom Zone effect itself, which did look a little bit cheesy. One thing that always bothered me about this movie is how is it that Superman doesn't know that Zod is out there trying to take over the world? I mean, I know he's distracted because he's banging Lois in the Fortress of Solitude, but you would think being Superman, having super hearing and all, and being inside of an all-knowing fortress, you would have some kind of bells and whistles that would tell you what's going on in the outside world so you can go and do your Superman thing. He's so engrossed in his little romantic getaway that he's even willing to give up his powers to be with her. And rather than Jor-El saying, you might not want to do that, he uses this as a teaching moment for his son, and his son makes the wrong decision. Kind of a dick move, Jor-El.
Fuck you!
Quick note, when Lois breaks Clark with the blanks in the gun gag that she tries, and Clark's demeanor and posture change right in the middle of the scene when he goes from Clark Kent to Superman, that's such a great moment and a brilliant piece of acting by him. You get to see the two sides of this character very close together, and you can see the different aspects that he put into each side of that personality. So after all this has gone down, Clark quickly realizes that he fucked up by giving up his powers. Not only does he get beat up by a trucker at a diner,
Kick his ass, Seabass!
he finally realizes that Zod is taking over the world while he's off having fun, so he decides to walk back to the Fortress of Solitude in the hopes of getting his powers back. Clark finally realized the error of his selfish ways. It's a bit of a tragedy that he can't just live his life the way he wants to, for sure, but he now knows that his purpose is too great for him to throw all that away just because he has feelings for Lois. That's right, Clark. Bros before hoes.
Goddamn right. That's the only way I work, Cap.
So it's around this time that Lex actually tells Zod who Superman really is. And this just enhances Zod's desire to take down Superman, because he now knows that he is the son of the man who put him in the Phantom Zone. Eventually, Superman does get his powers back after a little bit of a pep talk from his pops, and we finally get to see a bit of a throwdown down in the streets of Metropolis. This battle isn't as over the top as what you get in, say, today's superhero movies, and that's probably a good thing, but still, it takes me back to being a kid and remembering remembering that this was the first time that we've seen Superman actually fight someone on screen. That was kind of a big deal back then. Clark is ultimately outmatched in this fight and he retreats. And then you get all these weird reaction shots of the people around Metropolis basically saying, why is he abandoning us? Another side note, this movie has the citizens standing up to the supervillain trope that is pretty much in every single superhero movie. I'm wondering if this is where all that started, and it could very well be. One, two, three, four.
That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life!
Once Lex tells Zod about the Fortress of Solitude, they follow Superman there because they're assuming that's pretty much where he's retreating to. This is where Superman uses Lex's backstabbing ways against him and actually uses Lex to manipulate Zod. And it works because Superman has reversed the power draining chamber, so it affects the people outside of the chamber rather than whoever's inside of it.
That makes sense.
So Zod, Non, and Ursa all lose their powers and are quickly dispatched by Superman and Lois Lane. And it wasn't done with Superman throwing a giant S at them. One of the many improvements in the Donner cut. Another improvement, no kiss that magically erases Lois's memory. Instead, Superman does his whipping around the world thing and turns back Earth once again, like he did in the first movie. Which is also kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but it's still better than the stupid kiss thing. Overall, I'd say that there's aspects of Superman 2 that haven't necessarily aged well, and it's definitely campy and cheesy in spots, specifically with the dialogue and the action sequences, but I still found it relatively enjoyable, and I would prefer to watch this over most modern superhero movies. The best part of this movie, without a doubt, is Christopher Reeves as Superman. The man was just born to play that part. And I have to give a little bit of props to the lesson that Jor-El attempts to teach him, about the importance of the gifts that he has and how he can't think selfishly, even if the delivery of that message was a bit clunky in the movie itself. So I'm going to give Superman 2 the pleased Palpatine. Good. So if you've seen Superman 2, I'm sure you have. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Nah.